Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood. In this series, we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget of $50. It's day 62. Let's check our progress. Day 62, this is the free-to-play account. The free-to-play account always has a green border around it, and then when I switch over to the budget account, here I'll show you, the budget account has no border. So as I go back and forth, and in today's video we're going to be doing that a lot. I'm going to be switching back and forth. I'm going to do a sort of an A-B comparison of where we stand. Today marks the 2-month point of both accounts. I started at the exact same time on the exact same day. 2 months ago. It's gone by pretty fast. We're collecting a rare tome today for our daily login reward. We'll check the market for some ancient shards. We get 5 every month. On the free-to-play account, you can see that we are at a power level, and I know power level is, kind of very deceiving, and it doesn't really indicate the true strength of an account, but in general, you kind of know, when you look at the power level of somebody you're facing in Classic Arena, for example, it gives you a pretty good idea most of the time of where they, of how long they've been playing, or where their gear level might be or something. It's sort of weighted a little bit too heavily on crit rate and resistance. But it has never changed. It's always been consistent. So if you see a really high-powered team, you can tell they have a lot of resistance stats on their champions. But it's one measure of what we're doing here. So I'm going to show you. It's 490,000 on the free-to-play account. And on the budget, you can see we're at 550. Some of that gearing, I think, is due to having the Forge Pass last month on the budget account. That was a really helpful thing. And I was able to forge quite a few instinct materials. Not the best, though. I was a little disappointed in what we were able to get. I forged a ton during Clan vs. Clan personal rewards. And we're getting ready today for Clan vs. Clan personal rewards again. So, and now I'm in a new clan. Both accounts are in the Cannabis Crusaders clan. It was really nice of Kyle. Kyle is USN Stone Sober here. It's hard for me to say that one for some reason. But you can see he's kind of one of the, you can see by power level. See his level at 3.14 million. And then you can see most of it, and then we've got Yarrick at 12.2. Yarrick is definitely the most powerful in the clan as far as his account goes. Both of my accounts, the budget and the free-to-play, are pretty low on the power ranking for a clan like this, and so we've got a lot to live up to to be able to contribute in the Clan versus Clan tournament. We'll do our best. I've been saving books. We did re-up the daily gem pack on the budget account. I haven't spent the full $50 on every month. The first month I did spend $50 on the raid card. I did get a nice comment the other day on a video I did that he bought the raid card and didn't really feel like it had the value, and I'm starting to kind of agree. The Forge Pass was so big value-wise, and I'm starting to think, but it lasts for 6 months, and so you sort of have to extrapolate over a long period of time what that difference is, and I'm not sure that it's going to be worth $50. Nothing is worth the money we spend in this game, but as far as value goes, I just don't know where else I would put the money that would give us more progress. I guess maybe buying a shard pack would be a better use of the money. We might be able to get more progress that way. And so I'm not sure I'll re-up it after the 6 months, but we have carried over $20 from last month. We only spent $30 last month. And so we have carried over that $20 that we have available to us to use in the future if something does come up and I feel like it's a really good deal. I am taking that comment seriously. I think it is something to be considered, but I'll reevaluate that as we go along. You can see also here on the budget account the experience boost. I think the Forge Pass gave us a couple of extra days, or maybe we won or placed in an event or something that gave us a couple of extra days, but you can see we've got 2 weeks, 3 days left here on the budget account. And on the free-to-play, we have 2 weeks and 3 hours. So obviously I picked up a few extra days somewhere on the budget account, and I can't exactly remember. I'm not documenting every little thing I do because it gets in the way of actually playing the accounts. And so I'm just playing them, and I feel like I'm the control as far as the decisions I make and everything, hopefully being consistent just with the way I play the game and everything. I think that's the main I think that's the main control as to whether or not this is a good experiment. So I'm not always going to remember exactly where all of my resources came from or how I got them, but I feel like as long as I'm being consistent in my style of play and the time, I think the time is the major thing, because I'm able to spend pretty much the same amount of time playing both accounts because I always have both windows open at the same time. Just I go back and forth clicking, and sometimes if I'm gearing a champion or something, I might focus a little bit too much. I'm pretty much dividing my time between the two equally. And then I play my main account just sort of when I can. But my focus right now has been these two experiment accounts. But I don't always have time to play, very long every day. And I'm not setting any records or anything like that. And if you were playing these accounts, you could probably see areas of the game where you might say, well, I would be further ahead. And that may be true. You'd probably be further ahead in both accounts. Or maybe if you don't have time, maybe you'd be a little bit further behind. I think the main thing is that I'm the one playing both accounts, and I tend to be fairly consistent in the way I see the game and kind of the decisions I make. And if you disagree with those decisions, you might be able to do better, but you would probably be consistent doing it with both accounts. Does that make sense? I'm just going to open up the champions and let's just look at the champions that I have. Put myself over here so you can kind of see. This is the list of the main champions that I'm using right now. Also, I've got the vault, but you can see I've been really super lucky on the free-to-play account. You can see I've got a Frolny, which is a mythical, crazy luck. I started out both accounts with the Taragi the Frog. That was sort of my free champion that I got. I got really lucky early and pulled a Stag Knight. Athel was my starter. You may disagree with this decision. I sort of disagree with it too. I mean, Kale is the best starter champion. I had never used an Athel before, and I thought, well, I'm doing an experiment with two different accounts. If I start with the same champion, it doesn't matter which one it is. And so I decided to start with an Athel, and I do see the virtue of using an Athel. I kind of now, as I've played her, I sort of put her in the same kind of power as Elhain. When I first started playing the game on my main account, I started with Elhain, and I'm seeing sort of a similar thing, power-wise, but they do different things. But I think Kale loses a lot of his benefit later, but I think you can get a little bit more further ahead with a Kale, or Kyle, however you want to say it. And I did build an Armiger, and I did level 60 him because we haven't had any turn meter on this budget account. A few days ago, on the 2x Ancients, I got really lucky and pulled a Rotos. Yeah, it's been great so far. I do have him 6-starred, but I haven't been able to finish building him yet. And Adeline was the 7-day login when we started the game for both accounts, and I was able to get the 5-star blessing on her, and she's been really good, and I probably will 6-star her next, I think, on this account. I think she's probably the priority. We also have that challenge where we have to 6-star a Force champion, and I haven't done that yet on this account. We've been really magic heavy, I've noticed here. And then Padma was our I think our first Void Shard. I just opened one just to have a Void champion and happened to get a Padma. That was really lucky too. You can see this too. Look, a Seer. On the 2x Void weekends, I got a Seer. And then, Lady Quillen came from one of the Prism summons. We were able to get some Prisms. And I have been using Haikatun as my speed booster. Haikatun is the fastest champion on the account. She is at 233 speed on the free-to-play. Various other, you can see what else I've got here. But yeah, we're doing fine. I just pulled a frozen Banshee also, so that'll be helpful for Clan Boss. Take you over to the budget account. And we do have some things in the vault, on both accounts that we will be able to build later. But this is kind of what I'm focusing on now. And so I thought I'd show you just the champions I've been working with. So Finchy was an early pull that we had with Ancient Shards, and he's been very good. He's good for Fire Knight. The thing about Finchy, he's a poisoner, but he has multiple hits on all of his skills. And so you'd think, well, poison isn't good for Fire Knight, but it does work for Finchy because he ignores defense on one of his skills based on how many poisons are on. So you can put some of the poisons on the Fire Knight, and as you keep going, he keeps getting stronger with his hits. And so he's been really good for both Fire Knight, and he has some turn meter control. So he has multiple hits, turn meter control, and he has poison. So I've been using him in Clan Boss as well. I really like him. He's been turning out really well. Taragi the Frog, obviously, we started with him. I do have a little bit better gear on the Taragi because we lucked out on this. Regen set and had a lot more speed on the regen set. We didn't really have a good regen set that was given to us initially on the free to play. And that's been a kind of a major difference also, but now we're starting to catch up a little bit as I'm able to gear champions a little bit better on the free-to-play, and I've been collecting some good stuff. Also, we have 3 times on regen on Fire Night right now in a Fire Might Turn tournament, and I've been doing that tournament on both accounts. I'm able, and I'll show you this later too, but I've been able to climb up a little bit more on the budget account because of all the turn meter control that we have. Well, you can see one coming up here. I've got a lure and Finchie, and then my Haikatoon is 6-starred. So with all that turn meter, plus I do have an Armiger available. I've only got him up at 40, but with all that turn meter I have available, Fire Night is a lot easier. On Prism Summon 2 weeks ago, we were able to get a Skrank, and that's a huge one on the Prism. I think he was the best epic in the Prism pool. And I had never built a Skrank before, but I've always heard how good he is, and man, he is so good. And I don't have him skilled up yet. I need to get his books on him, and so we're waiting for Clan versus Clan to start to do that. So that's exciting also. He's a really good champion. I highly recommend building a Skrank, and that gives us AoE HP burn on this account. And you would think that would help us with Spider, and it will, but it hasn't helped us that much yet, and I don't have enough control of the Spiderlings yet. The Provoke hasn't worked that well with Taragi because he dies to the poisons too easily. Don't have enough resistance on him to avoid getting poisoned. So I'm working on Spider, and I'll just show you where we are later. Yeah, you can see I did 6-star Haikatoon. She's been very good as my fastest champion, and I'll show you her speed is at 256. So I've gotten a little more speed with her. Yeah, that's just been some RNG on our speed sets. I don't have a lot of accuracy on her yet, though, which I would like to have some more accuracy. She only has 60 accuracy, and I would like to have a lot more accuracy on her. That would make her more useful in Scarab to get that turn meter pushed back, and also in Arena. She is my Arena speed booster right now. Until we get our Arbiter, I'm going to use her. Athel, obviously my starter in Lifesteal. Athel is no longer in my Clan Boss team because I was able to put Skrank in the Clan Boss team. And then War Maiden, I just 6-starred my War Maiden. She does have all of her masteries done. You can see kind of behind me there, she has War Master, and that has helped our Clan Boss damage just a little bit. And then you can see I've got my Chronicler Adeline. She does have all of her scrolls farmed. I just haven't 6-starred her yet. I may 6-star her soon on this account, but I'm not sure she's my next priority. This is where things start to diverge, between the budget and the free-to-play. And having a lure, that's just fantastic. We did get a lure on a Prism also on that one, and that Prism pool was so nice. All the Prism pools have been really good. I wasn't able to do the last one with either account, but where we have been able to use those prisms, that for an early game account, that's been really, really nice. And then we did pull our Slixus. We did get a Slixus on each account. I've got a Ursula the Mourner. You can see I've got a old Hermit Yorg. As you look around, I've been pretty fortunate on both accounts as far as the shard pulls. I haven't pulled any legendaries or mythicals on this budget account yet, but we're still doing pretty well despite the fact that the free-to-play has had a lot better RNG. All right, so champion-wise, you can kind of see we've had better RNG with the free-to-play account. I'm going to go back on the free-to-play, and I'm just going to show you shard counts right now. I was able to stop pulling shards on the 2x Ancient weekend because after I pulled Rhodos, it was like, why keep going? I've got enough stuff to build. I pulled a Tagore. He's in the vault. I pulled, quite a few really good champions. And so you can see I've got 47 Ancient Shards right after completing an Ancient weekend. 3 Voids, no Primals right now, but I do have some Primal Quartz. And then I have 6 Sacreds on the free-to-play. On the budget, shard count-wise, we are only at 1 Ancient Shard. I did get 2 more Ancient Shards after my shard pull video the other day, and I pulled them. I recorded it, but it was like a Boltsmith and something else. Yeah, they weren't exciting or anything, so nobody was going to care. So I just thought, I'll just leave that off. But anyway, I did pull 2 more. I was able to get the rewards I wanted to get. I think I was trying to go for a legendary book. So 4 Void Shards. We did pick up a Void from Clan Boss earlier today. Primal Shard, and I think that was an award. I was able to climb up a little bit higher in a tournament, and I was able to get more quartz, and so I got the quartz twice, and so I have been able to put 1 Primal Shard together. We did pull Primals earlier. We had a couple of Primals, and we did pull those earlier on both accounts, and so we were down at 0 again. I got the same Sacred Shards on the budget that I do on the free-to-play. I've noticed they've been neck and neck most of the time. In spite of the advantages that we have on the budget account, with the raid card and with the Forge Pass that we had last month, and that expired a few days ago, and I'm hoping we get another Forge Pass soon so that I can re-up that, because I think it's a really helpful, even if the set being offered isn't very good, if you're going to be spending that $20 during that month anyway, I think that's probably one of the most efficient. I am doing the daily gem pack again, like I said before, but other than the daily gem pack, I think that is probably the most efficient place. But we just haven't been able to take advantage of it as much yet. Silver is always a struggle, and so it just depends on how much silver you have to be able to level up your artifacts, and that's been a real struggle on both accounts. And it's been easier on the budget account, but it still limits you. You're still always limited by silver. As far as campaign goes, we have only done a couple of levels of Nightmare. We're doing Brutal. We're farming 12-3 Brutal on both accounts, so that's not, there's really no difference there. And I haven't been pushing any Nightmare. You can see this is Nightmare, and I haven't been pushing it all. I have opened it up, and I've done a couple of levels on one, but you can see there are awards to be had down here on Nightmare. I just haven't done it on either account. It's a lot of energy, and I keep feeling compelled to use the energy doing other things, and maybe it would be a good investment, but on both accounts I just haven't done it yet. I'll probably start to push a little bit later when I have better stats on my nuker and I'm able to stay alive a little bit better. I think I'm not sure I'm ready to finish Nightmare campaign, but there is a Sacred Shard at the end of that, so it would be nice to do. Dungeons, let's just go through and A/B both dungeons. I haven't really pushed Iron Twins Fortress very much on either account. Yeah, I haven't on Force. I haven't even done it at all on this one. Potion keeps. Let's see where I am on Arcane. Yeah, you can see I've done level 15 on Arcane. Yeah, and you can see on the free-to-play I'm at 16. So there's, but that's not that big of a difference. But I'll have to rectify that situation on the budget account. Let's see what else on the free-to-play. What's open today? Force Keep. Yeah, we've gotten to 13 on Force Keep, and then let's look at the budget. 13 on the budget also. I think that was just to fulfill a quest too, and maybe I'd have farmed there a little bit, but we haven't done a lot of Force champions on either account other than like War Maiden on this budget account, and we got our Adlin 5-starred as well. But yeah, we've been a little light on Force champions, and I like to have some diversity on affinity. It is very helpful. It gives you some advantages. And so going back to dungeons, Minotaur on both accounts we're farming at level 15. I don't have anybody that can solo it yet, really. Or on the free to play, I think Frolny can solo it. No, he does have healing on his second form, but he doesn't have any healing on his main form, and that's the form that does most of the damage. And so it's kind of, either you go back and heal and you take a long time, and his isn't a heal, it's a balance, an HP balance. But it does basically, it brings his health back up. Anyway, the point is, I'm not sure I can solo it with any of my champions, and especially with the gear that I have available to me. We're really limited by gear, a lot. I need 2 or 3 champions in there that already have their scrolls, and then I'm able to farm experience for the ones who don't. I'm kind of in this transition period where now my core team has all their scrolls built on both accounts. It's been really nice. On both accounts I have it. So now I'm in that kind of level where if I'm building multiple champions, I could put them in with one of my nukers or something and be able to farm all their experience and scrolls at the same time. Sort of like I did with my core team at the beginning. But if I don't have them built well enough to maybe help or survive, it might be problematic. So I'm gonna keep going. We do have on this clan versus clan coming up, we do have ×2 points on Minotaur, which on a personal rewards that might not be the most efficient. I think you still get more points out of Spider than you do on Minotaur, even when it's ×2. But if you are doing Minotaur and your clan has a healthy lead, I think it's perfectly acceptable to do that. Ice Golem, let's see, on the budget account we are at 16. And I think I can safely farm 16 on Ice Golem on the budget account. On the free to play, let's go back. I'm still only able to do 14, and I think part of that is because of Skrank and Fenchi. Fenchi's really good for Ice Golem, and so is Skrank. He's excellent. So, and my gear level on my free to play isn't quite up to where the budget account is. Haven't really pushed, but you can see where I'm at. It's not really reliable at 16 on the budget account, but it's okay. So sometimes if I'm trying to be a little more efficient, I'll probably push back to 14, but it's been working. Spider, to me, this is the interesting one between the two accounts. I'm stuck on that challenge on the budget account right now. You can see I'm at stage 13 on Spider, but it's pretty long. It's a pretty long period of time, a long run, and I don't think it's 100%. But see, I always go back to 10 when I'm farming. Until I get to 20, I think I'm going to stick with farming 10. There's a mission right now that I'm stuck on for the Arbiter missions. Over my right ear there, you can see, over your left, my right, over my right ear there, you can see clear stage 14 or higher of the Spider's Den 10 times on auto on normal. Well, I can't do that yet on the budget account because I'm still stuck on 13 and haven't been able to complete 14. But on the free to play, I'm not stuck on that mission. I passed that mission, so I'm trying to get an affinity bonus to level 7 on the budget account. You can see I was able to complete that mission. It's not a short run, but it wasn't too bad. And I think a lot of that has to do with having Frolny, Adeline, and Taragi on the same team. It really increases your and Taragi's good for Taragi's good for doing damage also because he puts out poison. But because I'm able to put Frolny into his second mythical form, he was able to help keep the team alive along with those two, and we were able to do it. And it did go 10 times on auto. And I got that mission out of the way, but it wasn't 100%. We did die a couple of times on that one. So it's not perfect. I would like to have AoE HP burn and some freeze or some stun or something like that, but I just don't have it available on the free-to-play yet. Since we're still on the free-to-play, I'll show you where we are on Dragon. I was able to complete 17, but I don't really farm it. I still farm 16 on the free-to-play on Dragon, even though I was able to complete 17. It's not 100% either. It may be now, though. It's been a few days since I've done any Dragon, so I might be able to push a little bit further on Dragon now. And I'll show you Dragon on the budget account. Also able to do 17. Yeah, still farming 16 though on the budget. So yeah, really no difference there. Fire Knight is the difference for the budget account. I was able to do 18, but you can see it took 8 minutes. so yeah, I go back to 16 to farm Fire Knight on the budget account. And that's what we're doing right now. We have 3 times on regen, like I said before. But we're farming 16, and we're getting some regen. We're getting some 6-star artifacts. It's a little frustrating. How many times do you get flat attack gloves when you're doing it? I'm just saying. It just seems like the worst stats or the worst main stats or the worst substats seem to come up more often than good ones. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it. But on the free to play though, on Fire Knight, we are also at 16, but I farm 14. Okay, the 16 isn't very reliable. I can do it. You can see it took 3 minutes. I can do it with the champions I have, but it's not really reliable. So yeah, we're doing 14, and that seems to be working pretty well. So 14 on the free to play, 16 on the budget on Fire Knight right now. Increasing our stats on our champions, and then maybe 6-starring Allure is going to help us push a little bit further on. We just need more speed and better accuracy and everything else as we keep pushing forward. Sand Devil, I have done. On the free-to-play, I was able to get up to 7. And then on the budget, I was able to get up to 6. I don't know if I even pushed, really, on that one. But I sort of just found a stage. I can't remember which stage I farmed. I kind of found a stage that was reasonable on the amount of time spent, and then it was efficient on how much they were rewarding us. And this has been several weeks ago, so it wouldn't even be the same now. But I just thought I'd show you where we were there. And then I don't think I've even tried Phantom Shogun. I haven't even tried Phantom Shogun. When you're really early game like this, you probably don't have any gear that's worth ascending, and so I'm not even focused on that. Every once in a while I do, however, ascend an artifact if it's part of an advanced mission, but generally I just don't do that at all. I just ascend 1 star. And so I accidentally just opened up an energy refill on the budget account. I didn't want to do that. That was a mistake. So I'm going to start a Fire Knight run to get rid of some of the energy, get us back down below the threshold, so that what I try and do, and the math doesn't always work, but what I try and do is I try and keep my energy so that it starts to cap out when clan versus clan starts, so that I don't waste any energy. Maybe that's going a little bit too overboard. But I just wanted to show you kind of where we are. And for spending, so I've spent the spending that I've been able to take advantage of so far. I know I spent some money on the daily gym pack today, another $10, but that we really haven't benefited too much from that yet. So I don't really count that. But as far as the first 2 months go, I've spent $80. Now, that first $50, I still have 4 more months of continuing to benefit on that. And one of the comments about that was, well, if you're using RSL Helper, you don't really need the raid card. And that's really, it was an interesting way to look at it, because that's not why I got the raid card. I didn't get the raid card for the extra multi-battles. We don't have enough energy most of the time to take advantage of that many multi-battles anyway. We're starting to build it up. We're starting to build up enough gems so that we can refill our energy more often. But I've been saving it for a fusion, and I'm excited about this new fusion. I know the Packmaster, he doesn't have a great reputation. I for some reason, I think people are focusing too much on the synergy with the dogs and missing the fact that he has an AoE block buffs that he places. He doesn't hit with that ability, he places it. And it's a really good ability. So I think people are missing that a little bit. That the AoE block buffs is a really good skill, and it's really useful in a lot of places in the game, especially in Hydra. And if you don't have AoE block buffs, the problem is, you've got most of your AoE block buffs champions are affinity. I don't even know of who in Voids has AoE block buffs. Maybe there is somebody, I'm just not thinking of who it is right now. Ugo has to hit. Well, when she's weak affinity to one of the Hydra heads, it's difficult for her to always land. In fact, I run both an Ugo and a Feral the Barkhorn on the same team sometimes, just so that I can consistently get that AoE block buffs. But if you had a champion who's an affinity champion, this Packmaster, he's going to be force affinity, but he won't be hitting to place the block buffs, and so you won't have the same affinity issues with him. So I really think he's sort of being underrated right now. And if you have a dog on the team, you could put a Fellhound and get your AoE decreased speed. And that could be useful too. And I am going to do that fusion. The free-to-play does have a Fellhound. But the other dogs, you can get the other dogs and hounds. They call them, I don't know what they call them, but anyway, the hounds, the dogs, the canines, there's some speed. I've been keeping almost everything that has speed. I've been throwing away most 4-star stuff now. I'm at that level. That's a really good regen piece. Wow, so good. That was some good luck there. Well, I'm glad I'm kind of glad I accidentally opened that energy. But yeah, you can see our this Fire Knight team is okay. 416, I'm going to go back to the free-to-play. We'll check on a few more things here. Because I can show you both the perspective of both accounts from Clan Boss on the same page, I'm just going to show you here while we're on the free-to-play. You can see with 2 keys on Brutal, I was able to do 27.34 million damage. Brutal, you have to have 21.7 to get the top chest. And so we're 2-keying Brutal, and you can see on the budget, we're 21.24 million. So we're not doing as much damage on the budget account. Interestingly though, we do more damage on the budget when we get to doing Nightmare, when we do a Nightmare key. I don't have that to show you right now, but it just trust me, it's true. We're getting a lot more poison from the budget account than we are the free-to-play. Free-to-play, I'm pretty much just depending on Taragi's poison right now. I will be building a Frozen Banshee for the account, but we don't have it yet because poison does max HP damage. When you're getting so much more poison from Fenshi, for example, and then my Adeline on the budget account is in a toxic set as well. So I'm getting a lot more poison damage and because he has more max HP, we're getting more damage, if that makes sense. So the main problem I was having on the budget account was keeping War Maiden alive long enough to keep putting on her decreased defense. And then she also has War Master now, but before she was level 60, she just kept dying way too soon. And so I am getting more out of her now, but she's just not ideal for the fight. She's better just for arena, for early game. I just don't have any more decreased defense on the budget account. But on this free to play, I'll just start the key here and I'll show you what Nightmare looks like here. So yeah, on Nightmare, they do okay. I'm not at a level yet. I don't think where reasonably 4-key this fight, but with some good RNG, I get really close. And so I don't think we're too far away from being able to 4-key Nightmare. Head back over here to the budget account. I thought I'd show you also souls. We do have some souls. We were trying to get the prism shard. Last week we were trying to get the prism shards. We opened some souls. Didn't have the best luck, but you can see here, I don't know if you can see this, but I got a Necro Hunter 5-star. That was kind of the best one that we pulled, and I thought, well, that might be nice if we ever pull a Necro Hunter. Well, guess what we pulled last weekend? We pulled a Necro Hunter. So I'm seriously considering building him now, whereas before I probably wouldn't have, but the soul influences my decision. So that might be a nice thing. I did mention that in my last video, but in case this is the first time watching, hi, welcome. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I just wanted to do sort of an overall kind of A-B comparison with both accounts. There's not a lot of differences. The main difference has been the crazy RNG that we've had with pulling higher quality champions on the free-to-play account, but I can't really complain too much about the budget account. It's not like, it's not like we don't have anything to work with. We've got a lot of really great stuff to work with here. It's just been the gear, mostly. I do keep more gear than I probably should. But yeah, the instinct was the Forge Pass, and you can see I got a lot, and this is a lot that I kept. But yeah, I really do need to go through and cleanse this out. I haven't had enough silver where I felt like I could go through and get these all to level 8 to see what they were going to do. But yeah, you can see I've got some speed on some of these. No speed there, but it has crit rate and crit damage. You see that it's just never, you just never get a perfect piece. This one's not too bad. There's crit damage, but not crit rate. But if you're using crit rate gloves, that might be a good one. It's, there's crit rate, but no speed. I'm trying to put sets together here, and it's been kind of hard. So that's just the weapons. But yeah, there's a lot of examples like that in these, and I was able to get some 6-star, like there's a 6-star mythical, but the mythical stat is flat HP. So that's not ideal, but it does have speed on it. So I'm going to have to roll all these up. So there may be a lot more to what I have already done with the budget. Does that make sense? On the budget account. I just haven't had the resources to be able to exploit it yet. And as soon as I'm able to exploit that a little bit more, and as our farming gets more efficient and we're able to collect more silver, from Spider, for example, I'll also do some gear enhancement during CVC, and we'll really try and work on some of that instinct gear and put together some sets, our Faction Wars nukers, for our arena nukers, for all of those guys, and hopefully get some more speed out of some of those champions as well. And I think that's going to help us a lot on the budget account. And so we're probably further ahead. And just to be fair, I just wanted to show you that, because we are probably further ahead than I give the budget account credit for. In spite of the great RNG that we've had on the free-to-play account, I actually think we're further ahead on the budget account than we think, just because I was able to forge a lot of those instinct artifacts, and most of those are going to be sold. I know in net wise, it's not going to cost me a lot of silver to rank all those up and check them all, but I just haven't had the resources to do it yet. Once we're able to do that, it's going to help a lot. And that's going to increase our overall gear level on the account, and then we're just going to be able to continue to capitalize on that. I think that's when you're going to see a more significant gap between the two accounts, whereas right now it doesn't look like there's too much of a gap. But I don't have, on the free-to-play account, I don't have a big long list of gear that might be quality if I rank it up. It's just not there. I do have some good gear on the free-to-play. But it's not like that big long list of instinct gear that I have on the budget account. So as we get a little bit further, I just haven't had the time, and that's one of the major things too, is the time. And if you're spending the same amount of time on two accounts, I guarantee they're going to look pretty similar, even if you are spending a little money. So I just wanted to go through and show you all that and show you sort of an A-B comparison. There was another comment, and I thought it was a fair comment, that I've been spending more time on the free-to-play and less time on the budget, and it might be nice to have some more balance. And I kind of, as I thought about it, I really agree with that. And so I appreciate the comment, and I appreciate all the nice comments that people have made and the constructive criticism. I also really appreciate that. But this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. It was an experiment that I thought of kind of very early on when I started playing the game. I thought, Somebody should show what it looks like when somebody's playing on a budget versus. And then I thought, well, you'd have to eliminate a whole bunch of variables for it to be fair. If you don't start the accounts at the same time, and you don't, maybe you get a different login champion or something like that. And so I thought they'd have to be started at the same time to really tell if there's a major difference in progress between spending and not spending. And right now we haven't seen it, but I do think it's going to continue. It's just you're going to have to decide for yourself if you think that spending difference is significant enough, because over the year that I've committed to do this, I'm going to spend $600 on this budget account. and so if we don't see a major difference between the two accounts after 1 year, I think we're going to conclude that maybe, it's not worth $600. But we probably will. I do believe that we will see a difference. I just don't know how significant that difference would be. And I'm really trying to be fair, and giving the budget account just the same amount of attention and time that I am giving the free to play. It may not come through on the videos as much because I get really excited about some of the champions that we've pulled on the free to play, but I am spending, pretty much the same amount of time. Silver has really held us back, though. Yeah, it's always a problem. The other thing that's really held us back is Classic Arena, just trying to find wins. It's very difficult trying to find wins. I think I can win this one, though. Let's look. So we're on the budget account still. You can see my clan boss team here is Haikatun, Athel is our nuker, War Maiden is our debuffer, and then Taragi is there for support. And I do have him using his provoke skill first, because if not everybody dies, I want them at least provoked and controlled. So let's see how it goes. I'm sure I'll be faster than this team. Okay, so we get the speed boost, we get the debuff, and then Athel buffs herself and then attacks, and then Taragi provokes. So that's pretty good. The problem is Cupidus is AoE on his A1, but yeah, we still win. At a similar power level, I'm usually faster. In fact, I've been faster than people quite a bit more power. If you can tell, you can almost tell if somebody doesn't really value speed very much, and I try and take advantage of those, but my Athel doesn't hit that hard. I'd like her to be hitting a lot harder, and that's why I kind of want to bring Slixus in after we get him built, because I think he'll hit harder than Athel. I almost think there's no question about that, and he might be more useful to use. So, but it just hasn't become the highest priority yet, because I really want to focus on clan boss and survivability. But this shows you kind of where I am. I did drop down to silver 4 after I've been in high gold 1 most of the time with both accounts. With the budget or with the free to play, I was able to get into gold 2 and stay there for a while, but then I dropped back down to gold 1. It's just, like I said, it's just so hard to find wins consistently. I've been leaving a one-man defense on both accounts. You can only lose so many that affect your score each day, but it's just hard to find enough fights that you can win, especially if you're not checking every 15 minutes all day long. You have to sleep sometime. So it's been kind of difficult, but and so earning enough of the medals to be able to rank up your Great Hall bonuses, it's just been kind of difficult. Martyrs always hit hard. That's the thing. I'm always impressed by how hard Martyr hits. I've never had a Martyr on any account I've ever played, but she hits pretty hard. People don't use her very much anymore, but I think she's a good champion. So I thought I'd show you Doom Tower. We're further ahead on the budget account on Doom Tower than we are on the free-to-play. I just thought I'd show you where we are. That was one of the things I have forgotten. Cursed City, we're kind of in the same place. We've only been able to do 2 or 3 stages of Cursed City on normal, not even close to hard yet. But on normal, we're just hard stuck on the first Bommel stage on Cursed City and the Nether Spider stage on Cursed City. We can't get past either of those, so we're pretty much stuck. And then there's also a Red Star stage, and I just haven't been able to get enough Red Stars on with the restrictions that we're limited to. So you can see I got stuck today on level 88 on normal Doom Tower. I keep getting to the 3rd wave and then get killed, and so I think we're going to be able to do this. We're not too far from that on the budget account. But you can see, yeah, level 88, we've been able to do a few of the secret rooms. We're collecting our Archmage helmet fragments. Yeah, see, like, for example, for this secret room, I've only got 2 dwarves. One of them's a food champion, and then the other one I probably will build, but he's not the best for a secret room. Yeah, you can see I have gotten a few of the secret rooms done, but there's a couple that I just can't do. And that's on the budget account. So on the free to play, oh yeah, you can see we got 6.17 million damage. That was kind of a bad RNG we're on for us, for Clan Boss, for Nightmare. We usually get fairly close up in the 8, 8-9 million range or something like that. But not always. RNG does have quite a bit to say about how we do on our Clan Boss team right now, and that's something I want to eliminate too. That's another thing that we have to progress on. On Doom Tower on the free to play, we got stuck earlier a week or two ago. We got stuck on this level of Scarab, on level 50 of Scarab, and I just wasn't able to get past it. But magically, I got a Rhodos. And he's not even really built yet, but I put him in, and I happen to have a blood shield accessory for him on that. Between Rhodos not being counterattacked, I'll just show you the team I used to beat it. Yeah, between Rhodos not being counterattacked and then the other support, with Adeline, Frolny, and Taragi on the team, and then Stag Knight for debuffing, they were able to keep each other alive all the way through, and he just kept counterattacking. I don't even have a good shield set in this team, but and then Taragi does a shield, but it doesn't last long enough, and whenever the boss hits, the shield is gone because it's not very big. I don't have my Taragi built with the best stats yet, so and then Frolny isn't booked either, so there's some problems, but it worked, and I finally was able to get it to work today, and then I was able to let them and then they just autoed all the way up through all these levels. I can't do this 6 secret room yet. They're pretty close to being able to do it, but they can't do it yet. These are the only 3 champions I really kind of have built, but Haikatoon obviously on this account isn't a level 60, and so she struggles to stay alive here. Armiger, it's not the best fight for him here, so he needs support to be able to be effective in a fight like this, and we just don't have it. So that secret room, but the others I was able to do all the way through 5 on the free to play. And so I'll work on Nether Spider today. Not really sure if I can make it through Nether Spider, but we'll work on it and see what we can do. I don't really have a cleanser yet. I'll have to think about what I have available for cleansers and things like that on the on the budget account or on the free to play account. But yeah, you can see we've been able to push quite a bit further on the budget account in Doom Tower than on the free to play, and some of that's gear. I'm not sure if we bought any luck or RNG, but maybe there could be something to that. So like I said, on Cursed City, we're pretty much in the same exact place. We're stuck on the same places. I'll just show you here quick. You can see we've got these 3. Yeah, we got these 3 places that we're stuck on in Cobble Market. Not sure I have an answer for Bommel yet. I'll keep working on it and see what we can do. But then yeah, on these awakened stages, I don't have the red stars. I don't have any red stars on this one. On the budget account, I think I might have 2. On the free to play, I don't have any stars for what we have available to us. And then Nether Spider, I just don't have an answer. This level is a little bit higher than what we've already faced in Doom Tower for both accounts. Maybe we might be able to do that. It's been a few days since I've tried it, so we might be able to do that. But you can see we're kind of stuck in the same place. So Clan Boss, we're almost doing pretty much the same, other than the free to play is a little bit ahead of the budget on Clan Boss. And then we're in Bronze 2 on Tag Team Arena on both accounts. On Classic Arena, we're pretty much around Gold 1 on both accounts. And Live Arena, I haven't really worked on for weeks since it first opened up. It first opened up, and I tried a couple of fights and I wasn't able. I don't have the options. You're doing your drafting and you've got to get 2 nukers. Well, at the time it opened, I only had 1 anyway, and so. So it's kind of tough. Live Arena is pretty tough until you have a few more champions built. So I've just kind of left it alone. The area bonuses would be nice. There's no denying that would be really nice. So maybe it's something I should give more attention to, but I haven't really given any attention to it on either account. Faction Wars. Let's look at where we are. So we're on part 5. Oh, you can't see it, but it's behind me. But we're on part 5 of 21 parts. On Faction Wars. We have 197 stars on the free-to-play account, and we have 221 stars on the budget account. So free-to-play 197, budget account 221. I attribute that difference in a lot of ways to the amount of silver that we have available to us on the budget account, and that I've pulled more ancient shards. When you've pulled more ancient shards, you have a few more rares that help in some of the stages in Faction Wars, and some of the champions that we've had built on the budget account have just been kind of better for Faction Wars champions. Let's look at what we've got on Lizards today. Oh, so we're stuck on 7. We're stuck on the first boss stage on 7. Muck Stalker, Terex. See, we've got nothing spectacular here. and my Slixus isn't built, really. And I haven't put much resources into Yizo at all. Gator is a 4-star, but barely. Muck Stalker's 4-star. Yeah, all these are 4-star, but nothing special. I don't think we can do this one, but I'm going to start it anyway. But Gator might be one to build. So what I'm looking at now on both accounts is filling in the gaps and where we're weak as far as our skills go. We're kind of weak on AoE cleanse on both accounts, but I do have a Gator on this one, and so I might start putting some resources into him just to be able to maybe more effectively do Nether Spider. The other thing is with regular Spider, with our classic Spider, because we have a AoE HP burn on the budget account now, but I can't control the Spiderlings, I'm thinking of maybe doing a Greybeard. I have a Greybeard and he's farmable, but I think maybe doing a Greybeard where he does the AoE freeze. That might be able to freeze enough of the Spiderlings so that they don't take too much damage, and so that we can control how many are hitting us. And then we might be able to sustain the fight long enough. So that's something I've been thinking about for the budget account. For the free-to-play, I just don't have the AoE HP burn, but I'm further ahead on the free-to-play just because I've been able to sustain the team long enough to put the Spider down. It's not the same issue yet, but I still would like to have an AoE HP burn on the free-to-play account. But who wouldn't? We might, maybe we've gone far enough to be able to win this fight. Let's see. We're going to lose Gator here. Oh, that's okay. So that's what happens. Yeah, when he steals the buffs, this is the boss that steals the buffs. Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, I forgot why I wasn't able to pass this one, but that's why. He steals that counterattack, and then it's all over. So, okay. Yeah, we gotta figure that one out. But I should be able to do it. Maybe not putting the counterattack up in the first place is a good idea. Might have to manual that one to get by it. And then you can see I took some gear off of that Terex also. So that's pretty much where we are on both accounts. I hope that gives you kind of an idea of what the differences are and what we can sort of expect over the next few months. Like I said, I'm committed to a year of doing this. So we've got 10 months left. I'm having a good time doing it. I hope it's interesting to you. I hope it's at least somewhat interesting or entertaining or both, maybe. I don't know. But if you have any comments or you have any questions about, sort of what the comparison is, please feel free to put them in. I don't always see all the comments, and I don't always go back and look. I probably should more often than I do. But if you have any questions or comments about how I'm playing both accounts or how they measure up in a certain area of the game, please feel free to put it in the comments. I don't always get to everything, and this is a long video, and I don't want to always do a long video every day, but I thought, in this case where it's a 2-month sort of an anniversary kind of thing, I thought maybe we'd go and do a little bit deeper comparison between the two. But every day I'm just not going to get to everything. So if you're interested in something specific, please let me know, and so that I know what people are interested in and want to see about both accounts. And I'm happy to show just any of the progress or any of it. I want to be completely transparent as far as that goes. So thank you for joining me. I've been Wood, and I appreciate you.